Hello, welcome back. So, I attempted to put scrapbook paper on this tumbler, and it was more than a disaster. So, I ripped off as much as I could, and I decided, you know what, I'm just going to cover this thing in epoxy, and I'm going to douse it in glitter, and we're going to make something else, because this is the second time I've tried scrapbook paper, and for some reason, everybody else makes it look really easy, but you won't be seeing a tutorial for that anytime soon, I don't think, from me. So I'm going to have to do a lot of practicing before that comes out. Anyways, so I put a little bit more epoxy on here than I normally would. Number one, because the paper was kind of soaking it up. Number two, because the glitter that I was going to be putting on here is a Mardi Gras mix that I made with a mix of, with the Glitter Ranch, with a bunch of glitters from theirs. I just kind of mixed it up, and then she released it in an Outlaw glitter bundle, and I just loved it, and I wanted to do a Mardi Gras. I had this vision in my head, and so when I had this cup that was messed up, I was like, this is the one. I'm just going to use this. I'm just going to cover it up and make it right. So as you can see, I just doused it in this glitter as much as I could. I didn't use any glitter to like fill in anything, because I was going to be doing a peekaboo, so it didn't really matter if anything was like showing through. You weren't really going to be able to tell, but I did make sure that I went over it twice to make sure that I filled in all of those little gaps. And once I did that, I put the whole bottom in the glitter, which at that point, the way that it was like, I just went ahead and did the bottom. Normally, I probably wouldn't have done the bottom, but it was already kind of sticking to the bottom and everything, so I just decided I would just go for it, because I was going to be covering it up. It was going to be a peekaboo, so you really weren't going to be able to see it. But at that point, I was just trying to save the tumbler. So, anyways, that's why I did it. And patting it down with that parchment paper is a huge help, especially with all this chunky, that stars in it and everything. So it really needed to be patted down. And this was 2 coats of epoxy and then a bunch of sanding. And now I'm going to put my peekaboo. I'm going to be putting my peekaboo vinyl. This is a removable vinyl. I just pulled out the one that I had, which happened to be purple, but and I just stuck these all over, except for the fact that I left like a open at the very top, and I left an open at the very bottom, so that I could put these 2 particular water slides. I couldn't decide between the 2, so I decided I would just use both of them. So I kind of left a space at the top and on the bottom on either side of the tumbler. And all of these decals that I have here, or these peekaboo outlines, whatever you want to call them, I got them off of Creative Fabrica, and they're just like elements of Mardi Gras, Louisiana, that kind of thing. They've got the masks and the gesture hat and crawfish and fleur-de-lis and beads and everything that comes with Mardi Gras, and all of that, just massive amount of fun. So once I got all of those on there and placed where I want them to be, I went in with my crackle, which you have seen me do this multiple times, and it really is genuinely one of my favorites. But this particular look that I was going for, I knew that the crackle was going to give me exactly what I wanted, and I wanted this like old world, kind of worn down, but then like the fun was kind of peeking through. And so I knew that the crackle was going to give me that exact look. And then I was going to add something else to it, which is going to give it that look as well. So here I am using the Pantheon paints, and I actually used this one a lot because I was almost out of it. So I was trying to get as much as I could out of there. And you know, I always say don't paint the cup, but it always looks like I'm kind of painting it, and which I do kind of paint it, but you want to be very quick and precise in your movements. You just want to like choo choo choo, you know, and get it done, get the paint on there, because you don't, the more and more that you swipe it and paint it, the more and more it's going to clump up and not give you that true crackle look. So just quick and easy, and you know, just don't go over it too many times is all I would have to say. So I took two of the, I think it's copper and statue, or statue and mineral or something. I will definitely have them linked down below, but they are like a metallic, shimmery kind of alcohol ink. And the color of the paint that I have is not white. It's like a creamy kind of, just an off-white. And so I wanted with this look, I wanted it to look old world and like distressed and all of that. So what I did was I took kind of like a harsh bristle brush, and I went over all of wherever my vinyl was, wherever I was going to do the peekaboo, because I wanted just bits of that to be coming through, as far as like, I wanted all of those areas to have most of the distress. So when I peeled it up, you would just have little bits of it that were kind of like either in the crevices or on the outside of it, or just right around it. And that way you weren't getting too much of this. I didn't want to take too much away, because I was going to be doing water slides, and I wanted that creamy color, the white creamy color, you know, underneath to come through, so that our water slides would still have that base that you need. So as you can see, I just kind of like sweeping it over the whole thing, but I was really focusing on those areas where I put the decals. And then easy peasy, I just started peeling up all of the decals. Now, the one thing about doing a crackle and doing a peekaboo is it doesn't work the same as when you are doing a peekaboo with just plain paint or spray paint or something like that. This actually, the crackle the paint is always cracking, so it will want to continue to do some of that cracking or ripping off of the tumbler as you're pulling up those, you know, all of that vinyl and all that vinyl work that you painted over. And so eventually I was really trying to keep it on there and keep it, you know, to where it was like a not perfect, but semi, you know, accurate look on the peekaboo. But it got to the point where I was like, you know what? Let's just lean into this. Let's just pull up wherever it wants to pull up. And then we will have the basic area of where we will put our outlines for these. So I just kind of, at first I was really trying to be careful when I was taking them off. And then I just, like I said, I just leaned into it and just kind of let as much chip off or peel off or whatever it needed to do. That's what I was kind of letting it do. So once I got all of the crackle done, I wanted to seal that in. I wanted to make sure that there was a coat of epoxy on this, because we were going to be doing vinyl outlines on there, and we were going to be putting a lot of water slides. So I put a really nice, you know, good coat of epoxy, made it really nice and smooth, so that I could add all of the next step of elements. I cannot speak today. Anyways, I also got my hair done, and evidently I wanted to show y'all my hair, because I had to edit this out so many times with my head was like, I was really getting into this and putting things everywhere, and my head and my hair was all in the way. So I apologize, but I have done this before. You get the point. I promise you this is going to be whatever you want to make it if you decide to do something like this. Mardi Gras is a big deal down here, and so I thought that it would be a whole lot of fun to make a theme. And because I did that Mardi Gras mix for the Glitter Ranch, there's also some other beautiful colors that are in that bundle as well. Bourbon Street and French Quarter. You have to go and check them out. I will put the link down below. And then I just got these off of Creative Fabrica as well. And I just cut as much off as I possibly could, you know, in the grand scheme of the water slide. And then I just started applying them on there just the same way that I've done plenty of other water slides. Throw them in the water, let it peel up or let it kind of uncurl so that you know that it is ready to release. And then you stick it where you want to put it on the cup. So that Louisiana with the flowers and the leaves the feathers, the feathers and the hat and the Mardi Gras decal, that was something that I wanted to put on the tumbler. And so I put that on the bottom there, and then I went in with my next big one on the top as well. So there's the love, it's L with the beads making the O, and the fleur-de-lis as the V, and then the E. So, you know, all of those are very creative in the way that they try to use letters and symbols and things like that. But I thought it was neat. I loved the colors. I thought the colors were appropriate for the Mardi Gras theme and the Mardi Gras colors and everything. So that's why I did that. And I did not put a coat of epoxy in between this. I just, when I did the crackle, I put a coat of epoxy. Then I did the decals, and then I went in with the water slides. I just did them right over the decals, and it worked out fine. You could barely kind of see the vinyl underneath some of the water slides, but they were so clear. There was so much going on with everything that you really couldn't tell. But if this was something that would bother you, then I would say go ahead and put a coat of epoxy. But at this point, I had a lot of coats because of the thickness of the glitter, etc. So I just try to, you know, eliminate a step if I can. And per the norm of this cup, I'm going to get in the way again. I don't know what I was doing today. I was like very determined about this cup. This was like near and dear to my heart. So I was just very excited in the zone. So I apologize for my hair, but I just got it done. So maybe I was just, you know, in my mind thinking that I wanted to show it off. I don't know. Anyways, I put beads. I put the two symbols. I put I put mostly beads and the two little the two little decals there, and it worked out. I think it was just really cool because all the other elements were there behind the scenes, and then the beads looked like they were just kind of draped over everything, just kind of laying on the cup. And I don't know, I just really like the way that turned out. So I finally went in with a coat of epoxy to cover up all of the water slides and the vinyl. And I went in, and then after that, I did a whole bunch of sanding, got it all prepped and ready for that final coat of epoxy. And so after this one, I let that cure, and then I sanded it down really good, sanded the bottom, make sure we've got a flat bottom, make sure we've got our line on the rim to where our epoxy can go and be secure, and you know, just cover up all of those, everything that was on there, and make sure that you have a nice, smooth, beautiful cup in the end. And there it is. Oh, it's so cool. I love it. If I was really, really, really into Mardi Gras, I would totally keep this cup, but I have a friend that's huge into Louisiana, was raised there, born there and everything, and she really loves this look. The look was inspired by her as well. And so this one's going to be given to her. But anyways, if you recreate this, please tag me. Please join my Facebook group that is tagged down below. And comment, share, like, subscribe, all of that stuff that I always ask you to do. And if you do this, please let me know. See you next time.